Hello, it's Missy Rivers, Psychic Medium here. So this video, we're going to launch straight into it. This video is titled 2021, The Good News. So I recently did my annual prediction video for this year, for 2021, and a lot came out. We did about 45 minutes worth of predictions. I'm very pleased to know that in the past I seem to be quite accurate for the year predictions. Time is fluid. Quantum physics tells us that there's not one outcome for every circumstance. But what I want to say is that things are good and bad, and that's what life is made up of. So guys, some people were more hoping to grab a little bit more detail about certain things and some more positive things. I know we all need some more positive things in our life, so I totally understand that. So I decided to make this gorgeous video. This video is titled 2021, The Good News. It's just going to be focusing on all the good things that are going to come out of this next 12 months that we have on this planet, okay? So stick with me. I'm very excited to do it. So in 2021, I am seeing, for a really positive prediction here, something about a construction, restoration of an actual building that has a lot of history in it. I'm wondering if it's connected to Greece, but there's certainly around that Mediterranean area is going to have a lot of focus, some form of community funds or government grants or some form of historical funds are going to be put forward to restoring a beautiful building. I'm wondering if it's the Colosseum or something along those lines. It's something that's really significant building that means a lot, even if you're not Greek or you're not from that area in particular, wherever this building is. I'm not sure where I'm tuning into, but somewhere in the Mediterranean, I believe. It's like this building holds a lot of significance for humanity, not just the people who live near it. So it seems to be very positive and a lot of rejoicing around that. So restoration around a main building site steeped in history around the Mediterranean area or European area. So I'm very excited about that. A really cool endeavor with virtual tours of museums. So there's going to be something coming out this year about virtual tours for museums in terms of children attending again field trips and excursions. Also, perhaps those kind of, they're going to be trial runs or test runs about those VR, I think they're virtual reality goggles that these children, these students will put on in their classroom, and then they will have this video linked to the site, to the museum, to the art gallery, and go through the tour in that sense. There's going to be some trial runs in this, but that's pretty exciting. If you're in high school or primary school or elementary school, wherever you are in the world, that's going to be a really exciting thing to going to a virtual field trip. How cool is that? So there's going to be some really interesting technological advances when it comes to those form of sites as well. Art galleries, museums. There's going to be a little bit of difference in how it works out in terms of national parks because it's outdoors, but very similar vein. Those kind of treasures and those sites and locations where people go and visit and they view something, they experience something that is at that location very specifically, are going to be treated with a little bit more of a gentle energy. They're going to be really revered and looked after. And how can we develop this? And how can we continue to share this with the world in a very different way? So the accessibility is going to be there, but it's going to be in a very different way. In some ways, more accessible to a wider audience because you may not have to be physically there. I just want to say, I think this may be a little weird, but definitely a prequel for the next 100 years to having the virtual holidays like that. What is that video, that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Total Recall. So that may not be far off. I can tell you that in the next 100 years, based on this kind of technology starting out for museums and art galleries, in particular focused on students, to experience that. Now, just on the back of this, technology is going to be taking off this year. So really, really, really taking off. This is the birth. It's very similar energy of the Industrial Revolution. This is the sustainable technology revolution. We are in the infancy of this. It is going to be huge. It's going to be explosive in a very positive way. I'm really excited about this because I really like to hear news and figure out ways to be organic, to be green, to really fuel the momentum of green energy, green technology, and how can we make it more accessible and support people in a really positive way. And the planet. So this is going to be really big stuff happening this year. Technology in all ways, especially farming, green farming, organic farming. And there's going to be in certain countries, and perhaps it's a global grant system, but there's going to be certain countries that really are heavyweights with their promotion of and rewarding farmers to become organic and transfer in that way and become green, to use less carbon dioxide, to use less emissions in how they produce their crop. There are going to be some significant incentives and grants available for these certain farms or farmers or producers worldwide who actually transition their way of doing things to be more climate friendly, to be more earth friendly. And I tell you what, if you're a farmer and you're watching this, or you know a farmer, you need to tell them to get onto this, because it is going to be the wave of the future very, very soon. The next 10 years or so, this is going to be how the food is going to be produced by a mass scale. Anyone who's doing farming the way we've done it in the last 20 years, 100 years, 50 years, is going to be really left behind. So the transition is now. So the farming ways, green farms, organic farms, incentives, and using tech grants for transitioning your technology over to these certain work smarter, not harder kind of technologies. They are linked with organic farming and really cool, less invasive to the earth processes, like no dig farming, organic planting, companion planting, no pesticides, things like this is going to be really a big wave, especially this year. It's going to take off as well. I love this. This makes me so happy. This year is going to be a fantastic year for female rights and equality in an African country, if not several African countries. Makes my heart warm when I tune into this energy. And when I saw this, I saw women rejoicing in the streets, saw women in different colors, and they were all hugging each other, and barely any of them knew each other, but they were all sisters. And it was a very sisterly energy. It was a very feminine energy, and everyone was just rejoicing in the streets and hugging and crying with joy, because there was a milestone of feminine equality that was reached that was just magnificent. It was so beautiful. Now, a month for that to happen this year, I'm not picking it up in particular. I'd like to say I think it's coming around August, September, but time is very fluid, especially when it comes to push-pulls with political things or humans, interfering with their energy. So, look, I think I would like to just say it's this year. It's around an African nation or several African nations, something really big on women's rights and a movement in the very positive direction. A lot of rejoicing, a lot of partying and celebration as a result of that. It's a big milestone for Africa as a continent, for these countries, for these women, and for the world. Okay, I'm loving that. There's going to be some really fantastic movements in terms of preservation and conservation of land sites. In particular, some countries that I would like to make note of in Canada, Madagascar, Peru, Prague, and Indonesia and Brazil. Very cool stuff happening here. Spain may be on the tipping end more towards the end of the year. If they don't make it this year, then they'll do it next year. But there's some things about those key countries I have just mentioned about really getting into. We've got something really fantastic in our country, that there is a block of land, or there is a forest we need, or is a type of animal, and there are beautiful movements to protect these species of flora and fauna in these lands, in these countries. And I'm just seeing that people are really on board with this protection. of we need to look after the Canadian forests, or we need to look after the Spanish woodlands. There's an Indonesian animal that will be supported and protected, perhaps a milestone in a really positive way. Like there was an endangered species that now is flourishing or something like that. It's looking fantastic for certain things, flora and fauna in those countries this year, because there's movement and momentum there for that. Now, this year, this is a very broad one, but I'm still going to put it in because I love it. This year, despite it being challenging, that's going to come up, and there's a pandemic globally, this is a really fantastic year to be yourself. If there's one time in this entire history of this earth to be yourself, this is it. Embracing one's individuality and their unique nature, what you have in yourself, and identifying that. Society by and large is going to really shift its focus into supporting people for who they really are. Well, we're all colors of the rainbow, so that makes us one rainbow, but we all know that we're all different. You're black, you're blue, you're green, you're orange, you're yellow, and that's okay. And there's a lot of accepting and promoting and supporting individuality and really loving, and I do mean loving someone for who they really are, no matter what package they come in. So I love that. That is so beautiful. It's moving into a wave of unconditional love and support no matter what package someone comes into. So it's very unique, and it's almost in an energy that humanity hasn't been in that before. So this is quite lovely, and I think it's very overdue. So it's lovely. It's starting to come through, all warm and fuzzy, despite the typical day-to-day stresses that humanity is feeling. Okay. Now, last couple I've got here for you guys. It's one of my favorites, to be honest, because I'm an animal person. Argentina may have a discovery of an animal or a fossil of an animal that is very exciting to some specific scientists, because they're going to study this and they're protecting it. That's why I'm wondering if it's a live animal or if it's a fossil, but either way, it'll be protected and it will be studied. There is something that's going to influence the future about this. So it's not like I'm saying it's not a missing link, but it's something that's very interesting that has never been discovered before, or has never been able to be examined or investigated before. So something around either Argentina or the Argentinian borders, wherever they may be. I need to have a map in front of me. So there's a discovery around that that's very exciting. It gets the global scientific community very keen to have a look. Now, the last couple I have for you guys is there's going to be a lot more free admissions for certain events. There's going to be groups, there's going to be collections, there's going to be community, whether it's online, in person, or I don't know, in between. But there seems to be more effort being made to connect through admissions of groups, through admissions of events, but it seems like a lot of it is free. I'm not seeing a lot of money being exchanged in order for these kind of groups and services. I really feel like people are going to be reaching out and making a lot more friends, but in particular, a lot more free admissions. I keep seeing that sign, free admission. Admission is free. Please come in and just enjoy, or it may be a donation that you have to contribute. But it doesn't seem like this year is going to be unbelievably financially expensive in order to connect. It feels like it's very cheap in order to make friends and socialize. So that's always a good thing. I'm sending you so much love, guys. I'm loving you all. I'm so grateful that you're here watching. Thank you for visiting my channel. I also am on Facebook, Missy Rivers Psychic on Facebook. Contact me if you'd like a reading on my website, missyrivers.com, or check out my other videos of the predictions. But this is the good news. And I do call a spade a spade. And if you know anything about me or anything about my work or had a reading with me, you know I shoot straight. And this is the good news. This year has hope. You just have to keep in your integrity, keep in alignment with yourself, keep yourself safe, and a lot of common sense, and keep your perspective bright. You keep that smile on your face, and there's nothing that can stop you. The universe responds to your energy. Yeah, you dictate how you feel, no one else. Sending you lots of love, guys. I am Missy Rivers, your psychic medium, and this is the good news for 2021. Bye.